Asperger's is a difficult syndrome to deal with, particularly for the child, of course, but also for the parents, for the teachers, for the peers of the child. Even sometimes the family doctor has a tough time dealing with the child and dealing with this syndrome. And it's such a difficult syndrome to deal with because of the fact that it lies within the spectrum of autism, and often it can be very slight within a child where they're a little bit off in certain ways. They don't quite grasp the social cues. They don't quite grasp what that facial meaning is, and come away discouraged from social encounters. However, Asperger's, although right now can't be cured, there are ways to deal with and to help your child deal with having Asperger's, and to show them that there is a way to move beyond where you're at now. You can get to a better level. You can get to a better place where you're able to function almost as well in society as any other person. One of the first things you want to do as a parent is figure out the problem. And of course, there's going to be many problems to deal with Asperger's. There's going to be such a variety of different social and, well, primarily social, but within the social problems, there's going to be so many things like they don't understand sarcasm, they don't understand like feelings, they don't understand when someone's being rude to them. There's so many ways, and they don't understand when they're being rude to someone else. So one of the best things to do is start just by figuring out what exactly are the problems. Now this is a slow, steady way to figure out how to help your child. This isn't a quick fix. It's not like popping a pill and have something happen. But these things, these methods, these lessons are ways that will help your child. And it's not going to happen overnight. But if you figure out and write down all the problems, start with the biggest problems, isolate each problem, and just start with one. It's not always going to be an easy fix. Actually, it rarely is an easy fix. But if you start just with one problem being the biggest problem, it's a place to start, and you can take action. So you start with the first problem. You start with the most troubling one. Let's say that the child just has the worst time understanding cues, body language and facial expressions of individuals, so like peers and adults. Well, what you want to do is think about how your child learns. You want to instruct your child in how they learn best. And this is one thing that has really been missing in the key of trying to help with children that have Asperger's. For years, and many people, and there's been plenty of case studies where the child just gets all these rules hammered into them only at the time when things happen, and that's just not the way that they're going to learn. Most of these children are highly intelligent and do very well on tests and IQ scores, all those sorts of things, but just fail in more so in the social areas, which can cause huge problems. No matter how smart you are, if you just can't get along in society, you're not going to get very far. But if you take how the child learns and apply that to what you want to teach them in terms of the social instructions you want to give them, they can then in turn apply that knowledge that you've been teaching them in a fashion that they learn best and that they can recall best. They're not like most people who can just read a person's face and tell that they're angry. These children need specific instruction, and they do best when they can learn in a structured environment. So what is the plan? Well, you want to work the plan. The plan is, at least in this first step, the lesson plan 1, is that you want to start with the one problem, and we use the example of social situations, not facial expressions and body language. So what you want to do is start creating charts, pictures, flashcards of individuals that are, say, frowning or look mad, sad, happy, all these sorts of things. And then quiz your child. Go over each one with them first, but then start quizzing your child about what this means, what this looks like. After they start getting a general concept of what these sorts of things mean and how they look on a person, then you can move into different aspects of applying that, as in you start showing, as a parent, you just start showing your face as this is what an actual face looks like when it's mad, and making a mad expression and a sad expression, so that they can put a little bit of the book learning into a little bit of context outside of that and make it applicable to real life. But the key here is they're mostly learning from a regimented style, much like they excel at, like in school. And you want to keep on working the plan. Start with this. This is the first lesson. That's the biggest issue. Start with that, and once you start seeing some results there, maybe move on to the next thing. It's definitely a case by case thing with every child that has Asperger's, and continue on from there. Just be consistent. Understand how your child is learning and evaluate them. Remember, don't get frustrated. This will take time. Each child is a little bit different, like I said, and they're going to have to go at their own pace. You can't force this with them, because if you do, it's just going to backfire, and ultimately you'll do more damage than good, really. They won't take anything away from this. So be sure to isolate all the problems that you can find by talking to your child, talking to the teachers, talking to parents, whoever might interact with your child, and then formulate the plan. Isolate the problems. Pick one, preferably the biggest one, and start working with them in a way that the child will understand. And also remember, there's going to be times when you want to celebrate the victories, no matter how big or small they might be. You want to create a positive environment for your child. Celebrate the little victories. They might come home one day and say, like, I understood that this person was mad at me, and I know why. And although the person might be mad at them, and they might have done something that caused the person to be mad, celebrate the fact that they're understanding this. It's not that they caused someone to be mad, which of course isn't the best thing, but they've achieved something there. They've achieved a recognition and understanding of an emotion, which is leaps and bounds of where they would have been before. So if you'd like to learn more tips and lessons on how to help your child with Asperger's, go to aspergerscare.blogspot.com. Learn more about how to help your child. Read some life stories from other parents and children that have grown up with Asperger's. You'll find some tips and tricks to make life easier for yourself and for your child. And there's content added on usually at least a weekly basis, with video content and written content. So thank you very much for watching, listening, and remember, aspergerscare.blogspot.com.